I've sat on the idea for an updated build video for quite a while now. I've been back and forth on a single video for each build, or a small segment in a new build video that briefly talks about my updated build, but I ultimately decided just to pile them into a single video just because I couldn't bear to wait to make each one. I've already got some really cool builds that I really want to talk about, but I don't want to oversaturate my channel since that was the primary reason that I was forced to take a break when I first hit 100 subs. Speaking of which actually, this channel recently passed 3,000 subscribers. I really don't know exactly what's causing it to explode in popularity other than that other bigger channels that I look up to, like say King Phantom, Razor1, and Burkle, recently took notice of my channel, but all I can say for the new subscribers is thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot when there are people, now over 3,000 of them, enjoy my content enough to subscribe to me. I really feel validated in doing YouTube seriously. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the updated builds. I don't know about you, but I think it's fitting to start with the very first build I made in Xenoverse 2, the Savage Queen. There were many things that I changed about her. Let's start with her new gear. My primary Super Soul still remains the same, that being I am Super Vegeta. My QQ Bang on the other hand is somewhat different from the original. The original was crafted from 2 parts of Beerus' set and gave a flat 5-point boost to Ki, Stamina, and Ki Supers, and a -5 to everything else. The new one was made from Towa's clothes and Goku's tracksuit and is essentially the same, but it's got -1 point in basic attacks instead of 5, which helps the overall DPS compared to the last one. Also, as a quick side note, since I know someone's gonna ask, the old outfit was Fasha's battlesuit, top and bottoms, the ninja suit demon variant gloves, and the colorable battlesuit demon variant. The new outfit is Zangief's clothes, top and boots, which are purchasable from the TP Metal Shop, GT Vegeta's pants from PQ96 the Shadow Dragons, and the colorable uniform gloves, which are purchasable from the normal clothing shop. Next up is attributes and skills. My attributes received a massive change since the original video. Before, they were for the most part evenly distributed, but I didn't know about the 42 points per stamina and key bar thing. Granted, I don't really take advantage of that with the new setup, but that's beside the point. The new setup is 125 in key and key supers, and as a level 86, 97 in health. And if I were at the current max level of 90, the rest of those points would be going into health as well. On with the skill set, not too much has changed about it besides 3 different skills. First off, I replaced Super Vegeta with Future Super Saiyan. I know it's still technically the weakest variant of Super Saiyan, but that's where my Super Soul kicks in. Not only can I cancel the animation for Future Super Saiyan to avoid getting stamina broken, but my Super Soul gives a Ki Blast boost so substantial that it actually overshadows the base Super Vegeta transformation itself. Another skill that was changed was my evasive move. Before, I mainly used Explosive Wave since it's pretty easy to catch an opponent in a combo if it lands, but now I mainly use Hyper Movement for obvious reasons. And finally, I traded Instant Transmission for Crusher Ball. There's actually a really cool combo with this move in Meteor Burst, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's first talk about some new stamina break combos. If you remember, there were 3 other combos that I found most effective, but turns out there was another combo chain that I didn't even know could be used effectively for stamina breaks. Both the heavy and light stamina break can be comboed into fairly easily by doing 5 light attacks, 2 heavy attacks, and either stamina break attack after the teleport. You do have to account for distance though, so be sure to wait a brief second before activating either one. Both can also connect after the same combo, but after the 2 heavy attacks due to light attacks instead, then either stamina break. The timing on this one is a bit tighter, but if you know what direction you'll face before the stamina break attacks, then they're extremely reliable. Now before we get to the next build, let me briefly mention an amazing new set of tricks with this skill set. First, let's quickly touch up on a hidden mechanic of Death Psycho Grip. Unlike Xenoverse 1, this move triggers based on where it thinks your opponent will be at the time of the actual grip animation. So doing a knockback kick or any knockback combo will give you enough time to activate Death Psycho Grip, and your opponent will fall right into it. Turns out, if your opponent is stamina broken, this move can also connect after some ultimates and supers, including Meteor Burst. So after the heavy stamina break combo, assuming you broke it when they're under 2 bars, just activate Meteor Burst, and as soon as the animation's over, activate Death Psycho Grip. This can take up to a whole 2 life bars. Alternatively, you can use a brand new combo that I use. Now, I actually did not discover this trick with Crusher Ball. I saw a streamer on Twitch pull it off, and for the life of me, I can't remember his handle, so sorry if you're watching this, man, but this trick is just too cool not to use. Anyway, if you remember the Spine Breaker combo that I talked about in my original video, do that combo at the top of the map, then after the stamina break, activate Crusher Ball. This will stun your opponent long enough to activate Meteor Burst in mid-air, then, if they're still stamina broken, utilize the previously mentioned Death Psycho Grip finisher. That entire thing is an insta-kill for anyone who either isn't a max defense Majin, or someone who uses damage-resistant Super Souls and abilities. Now, I know my tanking Big Mac is technically my second build, but for the rest of the video, I'll just be going down my character list as shown by the main menu. So the next updated build on my list is the Purest Evil Majin. Before I talk about the changes, let me briefly talk about my outfit. I don't believe I mentioned it in the original video, but the set I use is the Boo Gi top which is purchasable from the normal clothing shop, the Time Patrol logo suit bottoms, which can be purchased from the TP Metal shop, the Gi Demon variant, which can be gained by feeding yellow Majin children, and the Time Patrol Gi boots, which I don't remember where I got it. All of those pieces are colorable. My QQ Bang is slightly different from the old one in that it gives you -3 in health and basic attacks instead of -5, which really helps since female Majins aren't exactly the strongest with basic attacks. The Super Soul I use is also different. The original build had a monster know I'm a devil, but since this build still uses Potential Unleash, which boosts ki regeneration, and my basic attack damage isn't exactly on track to end a match quickly, I instead chose to use Before Creation Comes Ruin for a boost in ki damage after 30 seconds pass. Those 30 seconds can be spent building up ki for your big damage ultimate combos. Speaking of ultimates and skills, a couple did change as well, both of which are meant to be used in tandem with each other. The first move to change was my evasive move, which used to be Fake Blast but is now Vanisher Guard. Now, it's not all that good of an escape move on its own, since you don't actually do anything, but it can be an effective bait if used with other quick firing moves like Orin Combo. The second move is the Majin exclusive skill Ill Bomber. With this move, you quite literally blow yourself to pieces and regenerate. After exploding, your movement speed is increased, allowing you to fly away and gain some time to regenerate without getting caught, and also forces your opponent to unlock from you. You aren't invisible though. Your opponent can still see a little target indicator saying that you're still locked onto them, as well as your gamertag, so if they know where to look, they can catch up to you when you're vulnerable. Vanisher Guard is only meant to be used in emergencies, but if your opponent tries to wait you out at point blank to catch you as soon as the move is over, you can surprise them with Ill Bomber. It should also be known that Ill Bomber gives you super armor for the duration of the initial explosion, even if your stamina is broken, so it makes for a fantastic counter for aggressive back hitters. There isn't much left to say about my purest evil Majin besides the fact that I moved the attributes from ki into health, so let's go ahead and get to the next build. I've changed my Hybrid Saiyan in a couple of areas, specifically regarding the new Saiyan preset. First, again, let me mention the outfit. Now, I've been using this set ever since Xenoverse 1, minus the gloves and boots. I use the Mirror Clothes top, which can be purchased from the normal clothing shop, GT Goku's Gi bottoms from PQ92 Revenge of the Tuffle, the Time Patroller battlesuit, which is given to all new Saiyan characters, and Goku's Super Saiyan wig from PQ63 Appetite for Destruction. Next up, the new QQ Bang that I use is one that gives you +5 in ki, stamina, and ki supers, and -4, 2, and 5 in the health, basic attacks, and strike supers respectively. This was mainly meant to capitalize on my 4 ki super combo finishers. I also changed my main Super Soul, which is now I'll Make You Regret That. This one is exactly like my Savage Queen Super Soul in that it grants a flat damage boost as a Super Saiyan, but for melee attacks instead of ki attacks. Also like I Am Super Vegeta, it also makes future Super Saiyan stronger than Super Saiyan 3, so I get more of the benefits of the strongest melee transformation in the game without the heavy ki regeneration penalty and a better ease of use. I didn't change anything about my attributes, but I did change a few skills as well as learned about several combos to tie those skills in seamlessly. The first skill to change is Energy Wave Combo. I made the new Saiyan preset similar to my OG Saiyan preset in that my X Super is now Die Missile Barrage. Back in the original build video, I was mainly fixated on trying to combo into that move from Meteor Blow, which it still has some difficulty doing, so I didn't even think about any basic combos that make effective use of it. Some basic ways to combo into Die Missile Barrage is to land it after the knockback attack, after the basic 9 light attack combo, after the 5 light, 3 heavy combo, and after the basic 5 heavy attack combo. Both of the basic light and heavy attack combos' last hits can be comboed into in a variety of ways. The second skill to change is my first ultimate. On my new Saiyan preset, I used to have Dragon Fist even though my Hybrid Saiyan is extremely weak with strike skills. But now I have the generic full power Energy Wave. This move is fairly weak. In fact, it's on the level of God of Destruction's Menace in terms of damage output. Unlike that piece of shit DLC move, however, Full Power Energy Wave is one of the easiest ultimates to use. If your opponent has their stamina broken, then Full Power Energy Wave can land after pretty much any of the male Saiyan's basic combos. This includes the 9 light attack combo, the 5 heavy attack combo, the 5 light 3 heavy combo, and the 1 to 4 light 2 heavy combo. It can also be comboed into after the heavy light heavy combo, but I always thought that it looked kinda goofy, so I usually follow that one up with a knockback attack, then blast him with the ultimate. Speaking of knockback attacks, full power energy wave can connect without your opponent being stamina broken if you fire it after the knockback attack, though you have to trigger it lightning quick after that knockback. My favorite setup for the knockback energy blast combo is doing 5 light attacks, 2 heavy attacks, stepping towards your opponent to knock them back, then using full power energy wave. This combo will only work at the top of the map, so keep that in mind. The last thing I want to touch on is stamina break combos. The only reliable heavy stamina break combo I had in my original build was doing the heavy light combo, and then the heavy stamina break afterward, but it turns out this one is completely worthless online due to the bad connections pushing your opponent farther away than the stamina break can reach. Very rarely does it connect the way it should, but there is a better way to reliably land a heavy stamina break attack. I don't like using it much since it requires the consumption of stamina to land it, but it can be useful in a pinch. All you need to do is 1 to 4 light attacks, 2 heavy attacks, use some stamina to vanish behind the knocked back opponent, then do either stamina break. Some opponents can fall out of it for some reason, but for the most part, it should land properly. The last build to change is my tanking Big Mac. Unlike the rest of the builds featured here, pretty much everything about my original build was altered in some way. Starting with the gear, the outfit Captain Big Mac wears is the dynamic strong suit and bottoms, which can be purchased from the normal clothing shop, the elite suit demon variant, which is gained by feeding Majin children food, and Tagama's scouter from PQ-73 freezes siege against Earth. All but the scouter are colorable. The QQ bang is also slightly different from the original. Instead of a flat 5 in health, stamina, and ki, and -5 in the rest, the new one, which was crafted with Goku's tracksuit and the pilot suit, still has +5 in health, stamina, and ki, and -5 in strike and ki supers, but it also gives -1 in basic attacks, increasing basic attack DPS since the last time we saw this build. The Super Soul is also different and better identifies this character as a tank. It was suggested to me on my original build video, and again, I wish I could remember the commenter, but if you're watching this, you know who you are. The new Super Soul is Broly's My Ki is Building, Overflowing. This grants a massive damage resistance buff when your ki is maxed out, but in turn, also massively nerfs your stamina recovery. Several things with the skill set and attribute setup were changed to better suit the way the Super Soul works. To take better advantage of the max ki defense buff, I reallocated the points from ki all the way over to basic attacks and changed the transformation to Potential Unleashed. Having a smaller amount of ki means that I can get the buff at an earlier time, and using Potential Unleashed also grants a little extra ki regeneration, allowing me to reach max ki faster. Lastly, Rise to Action is the only skill from my original build to remain. Not only is it the primary means to regain stamina, but it's also to keep my stamina away from the danger zone from male Majins. For those who don't know, Majins keep their racial defense buff so long as they remain at or above 3 stamina bars. But not only do they lose their buff, but take double damage when under 3 bars or when stamina broken. The rest of the skill set also received a change. The escape move was changed to better fall in line with the rest of my builds and is now hyper movement. I don't use it often with this build since stamina is so important to Majins, but it's great for emergencies. Maximum Charge was also added as an extra way to build up ki and make use of the Super Soul. Now, despite the purpose of this build, that being to outlast your opponent, I could not resist adding some skills for some kick-ass combos. The 2 new supers added to this build are both Mach Kick and Mach Punch. Alone, these 2 skills aren't very helpful, but some people may not know that you can cancel the final attack of Mach Kick and substitute another skill in its place. This is what Mach Punch is for, and if your opponent is stamina broken, you can charge after them once Mach Punch finishes, hit them with 2 light attacks, which results in a whirlwind flurry of attacks type of thing, then finish them with just this combination. Even as a tank, this deals upwards to around 12 to 13,000 damage, but it's mainly meant to be a finisher since the majority of the fight is either building up ki for the Super Soul or simply outlasting your opponent. I also have Ultra Fighting Bomber as my second ultimate because male Majins have an incredible array of heavy stamina break combos. The first method was introduced in my original build video. Simply do 1 heavy attack, 1 light attack, and use either stamina break after or before the normal attack lands. Another method that, giving credit where credit is due, I found from Sodium Equinox, involves throwing your opponent at ground level, doing a back hit, then immediately using either stamina break attack. And finally, I'm sure others have already talked about the next 2, but for the record, I didn't research these, I found them on my own. The next stamina break method is extremely easy. Just do 1 heavy attack, 1 light attack, then the light stamina break. This does not work with the heavy stamina break, keep that in mind. And this last method I found is almost as easy as the previous one. Just do the heavy light combo, then immediately use either stamina break. At the end of that heavy light combo, your opponent will be so close to your body that you can get away with almost any other attack. Weirdly enough, this might be my favorite updated build next to my new and improved Savage Queen. Alright, now before I end this video, I want to once again thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, totally original joke, but but I can't really put into words how much it means to put content out there that people genuinely enjoy and come back every day to watch. I'm gonna try to vary up some of my content in the future, so expect to see more stuff like that collab with Boston Skid TV in the near future, and one of these days some other games. I know I've said that I'd play other games several times now, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to do them. So if you're getting a little sick of seeing nothing but builds and guides, don't worry, I'm trying to figure some other stuff out in between. But regardless, thank you all for the support, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.